Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one, I thought it would be helpful to go over a bunch of tips and tricks to help you guys level up this skin's Lynx and Zenith, and also of course the Ice King. So we're going to be going over tips for how to get XP fast and level up fast, even like a secret way of getting XP that you might not really know about. We'll also dive into like which game modes are best for leveling up, as well as like something for the Ice King with outlive opponents and things like that. So if you're trying to get to those extra, unlockable styles for those variants, this video should be very helpful. And if you do find it helpful and you want to support me, you can do so by using code TheLlamaSir in the item shop. As you guys probably know, you input that into the bottom right of the item shop, and my code is TheLlamaSir. And if you do use my code, I really do appreciate it, and thanks to all of you who have already been doing so. On top of that, guys, be sure to hit that like button down below. And on top of that, guys, I'm curious, what is your favorite pickaxe at the moment? Comment that down below, but for me, it might be the scratch mark, just because of like the customizable styles are pretty cool and it's super clean. But I am curious to see what you guys have to say, so comment that down below. But yeah, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into it with the first tip I want to go over in today's video. Now, starting off the video here, let's get into it first of all with an overall tip that just helps you better visualize like how much further you have to go for specifically the Lynx and Zenith XP challenges. And again, we'll also talk a bit about the Ice King's challenges as well. But for Lynx and Zenith, I want to start out with them because, as you guys already probably know, for Lynx, the max amount of XP you need is 325,000 for the final of her challenges to unlock. I think it's the tail variant, but you need 325,000 XP for that one. Whereas for Zenith, the max variant that you can get for him in regards to XP challenges is 350,000. Now that itself, again, is pretty obvious. You probably already know that. However, what level does that equate to? Like your in-game level? Like, for example, I am at level 63 right now. But yeah, like for example, what level is 325,000 XP? Well, guys, I think I have an answer for you. I'm actually pretty close to these myself, so it was a little bit easier to figure out likely what level you need to get to in order to unlock these, because again, your in-game level goes up with how much XP you earn, but it's just a better way of visualizing like how far you have left to work towards. So let's start off with Lynx, because hers is 325,000, a little bit less than Zenith's max, XP challenge. But as you can see right here, when I checked this, I was at level 63 and I needed 12,000 XP to get to level 64. Now, as you guys probably know, each time you level up, the amount of XP you need to level up also goes up by an increment, if that makes sense. Like, for example, level 62 was 11,600 to get to the next level, and again, level 63 requires 12,000. Now, that would lead me to guess that it probably goes up around increments of 400, but it's possible that increment changes, like maybe it's smaller earlier on in the levels, maybe it's a larger increment later on in the levels, but we'll just go with that number for now because it makes it simpler. Along with that, I also unlocked Zenith's pickaxe, I believe at 300,000 XP, maybe it was something else, but I just unlocked it right around when I reached level 63. But with that being said, let's just assume that right when you reach level 63, that's 300,000 XP. Now then, if we go ahead and add the levels XP, you should be able to unlock the max level challenge for Lynx at between level 65 and 66. Somewhere in between there, I would guess. But then for Zenith at 350,000 XP for his max XP challenge, that would be around level 67. Around when you reach that, maybe a little bit before, a little bit after. Again, it depends, but that's just a general idea of where you need to be level-wise for these challenges. But moving on to the next tip here, this is more of a trick, a secret trick in order to get a little bit more XP, because it's a bit of challenge XP that you can get. You know what? Let's actually go through one other thing first, because it leads into this next piece here. So right after this one, we'll jump into that sort of secret way of getting XP, but this first tip is super important as well. One of the fastest ways you're going to be able to get XP, and that is by getting to tier 100. That is right, guys. I know that may seem pretty obvious, but once you get to tier 100, there's a bunch more ways for you to earn XP. Now, the main ways for that is, well, whenever you get challenges for like the weekly challenges and stuff like that, instead of getting battle stars, once you're at tier 100, you obviously don't need battle stars. You then will get XP for those challenges. Now, keep in mind, certain ones of them do differ. The hard challenges get you 1,000 XP each, and then the easier ones get you 500 XP each. But each week, once you're at tier 100, that means an extra 3,000 XP from doing the weekly challenges. But on top of that, with these weekly challenges, as you guys may already know, for each week, once you complete 4 of the challenges, you unlock the special XP reward for that week. So for example, here in week 8, it was 8,000 XP, but then it goes up each week. So like for example, week 9 ahead of us, it's 9,000 XP for that bonus, and also week 10 10 is 10,000. So definitely, guys, continue to do those weekly challenges because you can get a ton of XP doing so. But after that, guys, let's jump into one of the important tips I have for you here. And this one is important because, again, it's a secret one. I don't think a lot of you will know that you can actually get XP by doing this. But again, I do think you need to be tier 100 in order for this to count, because I think if you're not tier 100, it might just give you battle stars. Now, the thing that I'm talking about here are the secret loading screen star challenges. That is right, guys. These can actually give you XP. Again, I think you do have to be tier 100, but as you can see right here, it does seem to give you 1,000 XP for doing the star loading screen challenges. Again, it does have to be the star. It can't be the banner ones because those reward you with the banner, at least I think. But yeah, I purposely had one of these left over in order to test this, and when you get the star, it does give you 1,000 XP. Again, I think if you're at tier 100, so something to keep in mind, kind of a more secretive way of getting a little bit extra experience. But after that then, guys, let's take a step away from XP and things like that and talk about the Ice King challenges. Maybe you've unlocked the Ice King, maybe you haven't. Around this time in the seasons is when most people start to unlock the tier 100 skin. So let's go over a couple of tips and things about the Ice King, because as you guys know, his challenges are a little bit different. So first of all, guys, just as a quick reminder in case you were curious and you haven't gotten the Ice King yet, his challenges are not based on XP, but instead outliving opponents, which is definitely pretty interesting. It's a little more straightforward than XP, but I still want to go over it a bit. On top of that, you also don't work towards these challenges before getting to tier 100. As soon as you get tier 100, you unlock the Ice King's challenges and then can start, on the outliving opponents challenge, or challenges, yeah. So yeah, guys, just something to keep in mind. Now, with outliving opponents, again, it is fairly straightforward. However, one of the things I want to bring up is the different game modes. This is really the only thing you can sort of strategize about, and there are a couple of things you want to take note of. The first of which is probably avoiding games like big team limited time modes if you want to do this fast. Again, you can also just not worry about it, play for fun. You're eventually going to get this done as long as you play enough games and outlive enough opponents. However, in games like Team Rumble, and I'm not 100% sure about this, I tested it out a little bit, but I think since in modes like Team Rumble, there's only like maybe 20 opponents if you're lucky. A lot of the times it's less. Throughout the game, you can only outlive 20 opponents. The max of outlive opponents you can get in this game mode would be like, 20 opponents if there's 20 opponents in game. It doesn't seem to count opponents getting eliminated multiple times. So if one opponent gets eliminated like 5 times, I would assume that it would only show up as 1 for your outlive opponent challenge. But again, I'm not 100% sure about that. I just tested it a little bit by keeping track of how many I had for that challenge, then going through a full Team Rumble game, and then afterwards checking the challenge again. So something to keep in mind there. On top of that, with things like solo, duos, or squads, these ones are really straightforward. Probably not even worry about this one. Just play it for fun. But I will say that generally, it seems easier to outlast opponents in solo, or at least a little bit quicker. And duos would probably be a close second. I feel like they're pretty similar, and squads would be third. The reason I say that, because like in squads, opponents can revive their teammates, which just, helps to keep opponents alive longer in games, it seems. So it might take slightly longer in squads. Again, it's probably nothing much, and that's probably more prevalent in early to mid game, and that's just an idea really, but it's something to keep in mind. Maybe you guys feel it's different. But after that, then we have a few more tips to go through, including what I think is probably the most important thing you can do in order to gain XP fast. We'll talk about that, but real quick, let's talk about what game modes are best for XP. Now, this question, it's a bit tough to answer, but like certain ones have different elimination bonuses and things like that, so there are a couple of differences between them. So first of all, let's start off with something like Team Rumble. First of all, let's focus on the eliminations and elimination bonuses. This is where I think Team Rumble really shines, because first of all, you get an XP bonus for 1 elimination, your first elimination, and that is 50. However, the more important thing is that for your eliminations after that, I believe you can get up to 80 extra XP. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that divides out. I don't know if it's 20 per extra elimination or 10, but I'm pretty sure the cap is at 80 for extra eliminations. On top of that, you can also get a placement bonus of 50, I think, if your team wins. Not 100% sure about that. And also I had a survival time, which was pretty consistent with other game modes. I think survival time is really similar across all the game modes, so we're not going to focus on that too much. But then let's talk about the main game modes. But starting out with solo, the important thing about solo is that you first of all have your elimination bonus of 50, but you also get bonuses for some eliminations after that. Again, not all of them. There is a cap, I'm pretty sure, and I think that cap is actually set at 60. But yeah, that's important because when you get into duos, duos, you get your elimination bonus of 50, but then you can only get an extra elimination bonus of, I believe, 20. Now then after that for squads, this is where it also gets interesting, because I think in one of the gameplays for this video, I did a solo squads game and I won it with a total of 7 eliminations, but it only gave me 20 for the extra eliminations. It does give you the 50 bonus for your first elimination, but only 20 for eliminations after that. It's something to keep in mind. So yeah, guys, but on top of that, you also have the placement bonuses, which is pretty similar overall, but I will say that it does seem harder to get the placement bonuses in squads, because I think they're given out a little bit differently, because, well, you place differently in squads, whereas in solo, you can place 1 out of 100, but in squads, it depends on how many squads are in the game. So that affects a little bit how the placement bonuses are given out, I believe. But yeah, it's probably not the biggest deal. I would just say that if you're playing solo, probably don't do solo squads unless you really want to, but if you have a squad to play with, might as well play squads. But speaking of that, guys, the most important thing about this for earning experience fast is 100% to play with other people that have the battle pass. The reason that that is so important is because of the special battle pass experience bonuses that come within it. But let's just make it simple and say you're at tier 100 and you have all of the XP bonuses. Those XP bonuses are super important because first of all, you have the personal one, which if you have all of them from the battle pass, you will have a personal bonus of 120%, which is a really big help for getting extra XP. But on top of that, you also have a friends bonus. So like you would have 40% to give to your friends in your party. So similarly, if you're playing with 3 other people that have the battle pass and these full bonuses, each of them would be giving you 40 for a total of 120% on top of your personal bonus, making for 240% is a total bonus for your XP, which obviously is just going to help you level up a lot faster. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more helpful videos coming out in the future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, my week 8 challenges guide, and then on the right, some update news stuff. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.